Guys, alright, so we're going to dive into how you can rewire your prospects or your clients' disbelief in order to get them to be able to trust themselves more, right? To be able to move forward in the actual deal. I know it's been a while since I've done a little something on NLP, so I'm pretty excited to go through this. Essentially, you can use this in any form of conversation. I'm going to give you the exact framework of what to say and then be able to know how to counter what they're going to say, all right? So with everything you say, there's always going to be a response. So you always want to make sure you're prepared for whatever that response can be. So just drop a 1 down in the comments and let me also know where you are watching from. Watch this on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this live on Facebook, ask any questions you have down below, and I'll be able to answer them while I'm on here. It's going to be a short video, so I want to make sure that we can get right down to it. So we are going to show you how to pin fear against desire. Okay? So here's the thing. When you're selling, whether it's coaching or information, or it's going to be a service, right, a done for you, what you're going to run into is noticing that when it comes to selling coaching, people need to have a belief in themselves, a belief in you, and a belief in the product in order to move forward. When you're selling a service, it's going to be a little different. People want to have a belief in the service, a belief in you, and then a belief in themselves. It's backwards, okay? So when it comes to selling coaching or information, if you're in that space, you want to make sure that you can clearly define the fear and the desire and help them be able to rewire the priority of putting desire over fear, okay? So we're going to get into what that looks like right now. An example of this would be a lot of time in the calls, people, you're going to notice they say that they feel that they're an introvert. They feel like they can't make this work because they're just not as outgoing. They're not as enthusiastic, right? So whether they're an introvert or they feel like Facebook ads just don't work, I'm afraid of getting burned again. You're going to hear a lot of different things, okay? So the line that you're going to use whenever you go into structuring exactly how to be able to rewire the disbelief is saying, we'll use the introvert line as an example. So this is less about being an introvert and more about how many people you're actually interested or how many people you're actually prioritizing helping, okay? So basically the way that structure works right there, so this way you can use it in any type of frame or context. By the way, guys, drop a 1 below if you guys are getting value out of this here. And I'm telling you, when you say this in your next sales call, you're going to be shocked at how the client or the prospect is initially not going to say or do anything. There's going to be a moment of silence, and then they're going to answer like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I never thought of it like that before. That's always going to be the response. That is validation that they are open to doubting what they used to feel, believe, or think. So this is allowing you to be able to reframe what they initially beliefs into believing what you're showing them they should believe. So this is less about, and then you're going to insert fear, and more about desire. Okay? So here's what this framework looks like. You're going to say this in a call. If you feel like you're starting to notice that they trust you, they believe in you, they believe in the product and the service, and you're noticing that the only disconnect is that they just don't believe in themselves. Okay? Anytime you're selling coaching or information, this is going to happen a lot of the time, right? They just don't believe in themselves. You could have a winning product, you could have a winning program, but if somebody doesn't believe in themselves and you enroll them into your program, what's going to happen is they're still going to flop. Okay? Because they don't believe in themselves enough to take the action necessary to succeed. So even if you have a winning formula, if you give somebody 2 sticks and you show them how to rub them together to create fire, or you give them flint, show them to create fire, it doesn't mean they're going to create fire. They don't believe they can. Okay? So what you want to do is say this exact line to them if you're starting to notice the disconnect and moving the conversation forward falls back on belief in themselves. Okay? This is a great opener to that. This is less about injecting fear and more about inject desire. Okay? So now what you're doing is helping them reprioritize desire over fear. So now you're allowing them to be able to say to themselves, okay, so I understand that fear is just a part of the process and I can't have desire without fear. Okay? And I know that sounds like you're probably saying to yourself right now watching this video like, duh, obviously. Right? But the thing is, a lot of people don't feel that way. They might think, obviously, that has to happen. Right? In order to get what I want, I have to be uncomfortable. Like, people know that. They know it, but until they say it out loud and believe it, it doesn't matter. Alright? A lot of people overlook this. This is like the saying of common sense being uncommon nowadays. It's because a lot of people just assume because they are familiar with something or they normalize something that they just assume that everybody else around them should just assume the same thing, right? Should just think the same way, all right? As my grandma used to say, if you assume something, you're going to make an ass out of you and me. Get it? A-S-S-U-M-E, assume. So you should never assume anything, right? I did an exercise in my last event that I held in Kansas, a big mastermind. We had 30 people in the room, about 30% of them were millionaires. And in the room, we did an exercise where I wrote down the word car on the board, okay? And I said, everybody in the room, write down 3 words from top to bottom, just one word, and what you think of when you see this word, the word car. So everybody in the room wrote down 3 words, from top to bottom, 3 lines, right? Here's the thing. Even though 10 people in the room were millionaires, the rest of the people, had successful businesses, 30 people in the room, not one person, not 2 people in the room, wrote down the exact same 3 words in order in the exact same way. Okay? So I did this exercise to show everybody that it doesn't matter whether you're successful or not. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're trying to match yourself up to someone else successful or match yourself up to somebody that hasn't achieved that level of success yet. It doesn't matter because nobody thinks the same. Alright? That's why you can never assume anything. So don't assume that people are just prioritizing desire over fear just because they know they should. They need to say it out loud and then they need to believe it. Alright? So again, we're going to get to this. This is how you're going to be able to pin fear against desire and allow desire to come on top, and allowing your prospect to then start prioritizing it, which will allow them to break through that barrier of disbelief and be able to move the conversation forward in your sales call. So this way, they already know they believe in themselves now, they believe in you, and they believe in the product or the service, okay? So this is less about being an introvert, Jeff, and really more about if you're really prioritizing being able to help 100 people by the end of the year. Wouldn't you agree? And they're going to be like, oh yeah, but I don't feel like I can do it. It's not about you doing it. This is less about you actually dealing with being an introvert and more about you actually prioritizing helping 100 people. So are you in a position right now where you're currently ready to prioritize helping 100 people? You see how that complete reframe just happened? Because now we position it from this negative frame to a positive frame, pinning and prioritizing desire over fear. So, anyway guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. It's a shorter video because I wanted to get straight down to the point before my next appointment. Wanted to bring this to you because I haven't done one in a while. So if you found this helpful, you can either book a call above if you're watching this on Facebook Live with my team, and we can help you find some gaps of opportunity in your current sales process where we could just immediately increase revenue by 20% to 100% in 30 days or less. Pretty powerful stuff. Or if you need some help fixing up your traffic, we can show you how to do that with or without ad spend. If you're watching this on YouTube, just go down below. We put some links there where you can do the same thing, book a call with our team, and we'll lend some free advice, okay? Is it a sales call? Not initially, but if you like what you hear and you want to ask us to buy something, then, we might make you an offer. So this is how this works, guys. If you want to be able to rewire disbelief, you need to learn how to effectively position fear against desire and getting your prospect to then prioritize desire over fear, okay? Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next video.